Hope my screen is visible and I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone, right? Awesome. So, folks, today we're going to learn about custom GPTs. So, I'm sure many of you used Chat GPT to brainstorm or even summarize or even draft things at work, right? All right. So let me get started again. I think we've also got like fresh folks joining as well, right? So, about custom GPTs. In fact, before moving to custom GPTs, I'm sure many of us definitely has used Chat GPT, either for brainstorming or summarizing or even drafting things at your work or also personal capacity as well, right? But what if you could go beyond that, right? What if you could build an AI assistant, one that understands your role, your tasks, and in fact your way of working or even your personality, right? And actually helps you get the work done way faster, right? So in this hands-on session, right, we'll also I'll show you one of the interview assistant that I have built, which works like fire every time I have a queries, from any students or even sometimes I also prepare myself as well. It comes quite handy, right? So I'll show you how I built on and. In fact, that specific use case, all of you can also extend at your workplaces or for your personal task as well, right? So let's get started. I think the next, let's quickly, understand about the session outcomes, right? So by the end of this workshop, you will understand the role and the value of custom GPTs in your personal or business settings. And second, more important context, like why was there a need for custom GPTs, right? And the last two, kind of agendas would be around like how can you go about building your own GPT and how can you go ahead further and extend it in your workplace settings, right? I'll also give you some cues using which if you want my hands, I would say handwritten guide, I'll probably have a short task for you. If you are able to do it, then I'll definitely DM all of you my kind of hands-on custom GPT guide along with multiple use cases as well, right? Okay. So before we move forward, I would just need to understand, what's your current AI usage at work, right? Just wanted to understand, like, in what all capacities you use custom GPTs at work, right? So yeah, you can type it in the chat, please. All right, folks, can you please write in the chat, like, okay, what are your AI use cases at workplace looks like? Okay, research, that's quite interesting. All right. All right, I'm just waiting for more instructions. All right, okay, many of you use it for initial brainstorming or use ChatGPT for prototyping. Okay, that's a new use case. As in, yeah, it's good for, I would say, initial context, but I think there are better tools for prototyping than, custom GPTs, sorry, ChatGPTs. All right, market research, user sentiment, coding task. Yes, it's good in coding tasks for sure. Front end coding, data analysis, right? That's also very interesting. Right, makes sense. All right. I think I've got the context, and thanks, all of you for, helping me out. Right, awesome. Thank you. In fact, right, for all of these use cases that you are regularly, interacting GPTs, I'm sure, yeah, you would be facing a lot of challenges, right? So what we'll see, like, along these use cases, how can you go ahead and create your own custom GPTs, and it can do all those tasks with, I would say, repetitively probably less number of tasks, right? So let's see that, right? So okay, see, as a product manager, right, we are constantly switching context, right? Probably at 1 hour we are drafting PRDs, or at another hour we are probably solving engineering problems or guiding junior PMs and all, right? So what if you have an AI copilot, right, which is there for your rescue and can help you get started, right? And if I have to, in fact, explain you the more of the context about these GPTs and all, right? See, when we use ChatGPT, it's like talking to a very smart generalist, right? It can answer almost everything, but every time you have to start a new conversation, right? You have to re-explain the problem you're trying to solve, or we have to give all the background or context again and again, right? And also if you're starting a fresh conversations, if you want to take that output somewhere else, you also have to specify your preferences, probably your tone, structure, or any constraints that you're working in, right? It's like, again, hiring a smart journalist who knows almost everything. They're capable, but they don't know your company, they don't know your circumstances, your style, or your way of working, right? So this is what leads to repeating yourself again, probably over and over again, right? And that is where custom gpts come in, right? Think of them as specialized versions of chat gpt that are pre-configured with your specific instructions and tuned for a particular role, task, or domain, right? And they're also able to hold context about how you want things done, right? And apart from that, you can also add your own knowledge base as well, right? If you would want that gpt to refer to your specific data, right, you can also share and upload that data, and it'll probably give you the output after referring to it, and not only just referring to the internet specific available resources, right? So it's like, instead of building a full blown ai app from scratch, you can create a custom gpt in minutes, right? So that's like a little bit of a context in terms of where custom gpt is different than a default gpt, right? So if I have to probably summarize the pain points, so the default gpts has these pain points, which is like repetitive context giving to ai, inconsistent output across users, because if you've created a specific chat thread, right, if you're sending it across, first of all, the other users are also able to see all the conversations that you were able to have earlier, which is like not an ideal scenario, right? You don't want other users to see what you have like interacted with, right? And a lot of times, like when the context is like too much, right, then you would also lose, or your entire model might start hallucination as well, right? So yeah, all those problems I think custom gpt solves. And yeah, that's its benefits. Like, first is faster output, higher accuracy, and consistency in tone and compliance, right? So I'm sure many of us definitely have tried chat gpts for drafting a mail, right? But one thing you might have observed, if you're drafting a specific mail and you're asking gpt to do a specific work, right, it'll give you a general output, right? And you might end up probably giving it like a lot of further prompts. Hey, do this, consider this, right? Change the tone, write this way. Because when you are interacting or sending a mail to a specific kind of a stakeholder, right, you understand your relationship with them, right? You understand your tone with them, right? So that chat gpt would not understand. That is where it'll give you a default mail, right? But if you want to use it, you might have to customize it a lot, right? But that's where custom gpt come in, wherein if you already trained this gpt in terms of, okay, if I'm sending the mail to this stakeholders, try to follow this tone or personality or specific structure, right? Or keep these things in mind, right? Or if you're wanting to send an apology, use this escalation template, right? So that is where custom gpt like helps you do things much faster way. It doesn't lead you to repeat the task again and again, and it understand your, in fact, previous conversations as well, right? That's where it comes in. I have a couple of use cases that I have curated. So one is like prd generator gpt, right? I'm sure in all the companies there are like these, I would say, good to great PMs, right? Who everyone says, oh, hey, look at the work of this specific person, right? And he's a champ, right? Or she's a champ, right? What if you could create a custom GPT which are like helping you create the quality of the work which has been I would say celebrated across that stakeholder ecosystem, right? So you can probably create that by training your gpt on the task or the work that has been done by those specific champs, right? Another probably gpt you can create wherein it's about internal knowledge assistant, wherein let's say you have a customer support team and you have like long set of policies and all. So every time a user is asking a question, you might not have the answer, right? So while customer support is saying, okay, I'm looking for your query, right, parallelly it's that specific agent is looking to your internal database and then getting an answer and then reverting it to the customer, right? So that's like one of the use case, right? Another could be interview prep assistant, which is like something I want to show you. Like, in fact, I'll also share it with you to use it once I try it or it's working. Yeah, it could really help you in your preparation, but of course there are like drawbacks of it as well. But yeah, let's see how it works, right? Further use cases could also be, let's say, across marketing, wherein AI that drafts campaign in your brand tone, right? Or AI that answers questions using internal legal policies or RBA compliance across fintech or specific regulatory authorities as well, right? You can also create a AI custom support agent, which is like looking into the entire facts and supporting documents and revert to the customers, right? So you would have like extensive use cases wherein the tasks are repeated, or I would say listed in a way wherein anyone can refer it to, right? So this is a short comparison I was able to draw, right? Wherein if you look at the standard GPT, right? So its purpose, you can use it for general knowledge, right? If you want to build a custom GPT, it will be well tuned to your specific task or a business or a domain, right? You would not be able to retain too much of a context the moment you go, I would say, beyond different chats and sessions, right? But in custom GPTs, if you are enabling memories, you'll be able to retain the context, right? And the default GPT's tone would be generic, right? But again, by giving prompts again and again, you can fine tune it, right? But then your custom GPT would understand it at first, right? You don't have to give, I would say, multiple prompts every time to refine it as per your specific requirements, right? And yeah, your setup time is like, I would say it varies, right? Depending on how long or how complex your use case is, right? But typically you can set it up in like 2 to 5 minutes time, right? It depends on how extensive knowledge base you have. If you just want to go ahead with simple instructions, you can also do that. Right now, accuracy on niche task, of course, in standard GPT it will have a moderate accuracy because it doesn't know too many details about kind of your domain. But in custom GPT, it'll be understanding your specific instructions and specific knowledge base, and then it'll be reverting to any questions that you would be or any user would be interacting with, right? So that's about the, I would say, short comparison as in how custom GPT or standard GPT differs and what's broad comparison looks like, right? All right, now let's look into, okay, I'll have one or two more slides, and after that, then I'll show you how I build the custom GPT, and I'll take questions as well in the meantime. Now let's quickly spend 2 more minutes in understanding like what are the core building blocks of custom GPT. First is instructions, right? So I'll explain you instruction in a different way. Let's say you've been hired as a product manager only in a specific company, right? And I hope all of you understand that product manager could have like multiple roles and responsibilities, right? So if you join a specific company, you would not have a free hand to literally do each and everything in that specific product stakeholder setting, right? You would be defined a specific task, do that, right? Or if you're hiring a, let's say, a kind of a customer support agent, right? You tell them, you train them, okay, when customer is asking queries, respond in this way, right? So first is about instructions, right? Wherein defining the role, right? Wherein you are telling this custom GPT, okay, whenever any instruction or a query is coming in, right? Try to act like this, right? Or try to follow this process, right? That is where you're doing that role defining and all, right? Second is a knowledge base, wherein see, you can build the custom GPT wherein every time for the specific task it is also looking over internet, right? But you have a custom kind of, let's say, company facts or internal policies or leave policies, medical policies and all, right? So you can upload it in this knowledge base, and before answering the customer queries or user queries or employee queries, right, it looks up to that knowledge base. So knowledge base is very critical if you want to if you want a better accuracy and yeah, I would say more relevant output, right? Third is integrations, which is like a little bit complex, wherein let's say every time a user is interacting with your GPT, you want to save that interaction, right? Or you would want your users to hit a specific endpoint and get the answers and all, right? So if you want to kind of connect with APIs or create your own actions or triggers, you might have to like add your schema and all. So that's like a little complex setting and all. You might need, I would say, extensive GPTs or any engineers help to get the endpoints and how to get the setup, right? And the final is like testing and refinement. Of course, it might not work better in one go, right? But once you keep on working around it, it also keeps on retaining your memory in terms of, okay, for the specific type of questions where you are able to kind of get the satisfactory answer, right? And that's where you can keep on, let's say, enhancing your instruction as well, your knowledge base as well, right? And over time, it gets better, right? So that's basically about core building blocks of custom GPT. And I'll probably take a quick pause, right? Because I was kind of continuously going and explaining, right? And in a moment, like in next 1 to 2 minutes, I'll also show you how my interview preparation custom GPT works, right? So yeah, and I'll take questions, folks. You can write your questions in the chat. Doesn't the space feature in perplexity? Okay, we are talking about chat gpt, so let's stay on chat gpt only so that everyone retains the context. All right, so anyone has any questions so far on something we have covered, you can drop your questions in the chat, and then we can take it forward, right? And after this, right, I would need, I think, 3 to 4 volunteers to raise their hand so that we can do a quick demo of my custom gpt, and I would request you to be please be on camera. So raise hand if you're comfortable coming on camera, because it's going to be a, I would say, decent discussion as you go along, right? So, okay. How secure is the documents uploaded? Yeah, it's as secure as probably uploading your documents on internet and feeling that it is secured, right? See, if you are taking in enterprise account, right, then you might expect some kind of security, but openly, it depends on ChatGPT's default setting, right? Ideally, it's not recommended to upload your sensitive documents, right, which are which could compromise your probably way of working or strategy and all, right? So but I think it can also be tailored if you are taking enterprise plan of ChatGPT, wherein it could have the let's say the data and everything, and I would say local storage and all, right? So yeah. All right, can we create a custom gpt on the free chat gpt? No, you can't do that. That's one limitation. I need 4 folks. Please raise hand and please get comfortable with I'll explain. So what volunteers need to do is like okay, they have to interact with me, right? And in terms of how I go about using my custom GPT that I have built, right? So you can ask any interview questions or challenges that you've been facing, right? And I'll see okay, how this bot answers. It can answer to the perfection. It cannot answer as well because I've just built it very recently. It might take some time to get refined, but I have tested it. So it's just good to try on certain use cases for sure. All right, no more questions, right? Can we get custom GPT API endpoint to integrate with? I think you can get it. Yeah, or you can also integrate it with your endpoints as well, right? You might have to see the workaround. All right, I can see 2 folks, right? Sai and SA and Shreya. So this is the interview course that I built, right? So can you tell me any interview question that you've struggled with, or if you have a a draft answer of any interview question, right? So I can quickly give I can also do one parallel prompting as well. I'll show you. Okay, so this is the screen GPT-5. Okay, I just simply ask, okay, improve phone pay. I didn't, this is a general chat, right? Okay, this is general chat, right? This is I'm just trying to get some half-baked answer to show you how my custom GPT works, right? So yeah, I just gave this, right? I'll just go ahead and copy paste this, right? Okay. I'll go to my custom GPT and I'll write, okay, in my recent interview, I have been asked how to improve phone pay, and I'll share my answer as well. Can you share how can I improve it, or how did I do, something like that? Let's see what it does, right? And guys, please be on mute when you're not interacting so that there's no background noise and all. Okay. Okay, it's still working, still working. All right, all right, all right, all right. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that, right? For some reason, it didn't give me the score here, right? But it told me my overall structure that I've used is like 5 out of 10. You listed well-researched features, but skip the structured flow. No clear goal, primary persona, or needs prioritization before diving into the solutions, right? That's what was missing, because this was purely solutions, right? That I've just copy pasted, right? Where did you well? Because probably this is more about it is picking from the solutions that I've added, right? Where to improve for PM interview impact? Start with the goal, pick up persona, prioritize needs, evaluate trade-offs, summarize the recommendation, right? So yeah, it's I would say a good start in terms of now you guys go ahead and tell me your interview problem or that one question that you were struggling to solve or finding it difficult, right? And I'll show you how this answers, right? So Sai, you want to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any interview question challenge that you faced? Do you want to know
Sir,
how to answer, introduce yourself? Anything you can ask.
so, sir, my name is Sumit, sir. So my question is that in most of the interviews, they will ask like that, where do you want to see yourself in next 5 years?
Okay. Okay. Now let's see that question. Okay. Can you tell me how to solve below behavioral question? Now they should not ask 5 years, because now in 5 years the entire world could change. They might should ask where do you see
Yes.
yourself in the next 1 year, but let's still see that. Okay, where do you see yourself in next 5 years? Let's see what does it respond to. Okay, so here's how to approach where you see yourself in the next 5 years. So it hits the behavioral signals. Interviews are looking for, yeah, some thoughts it is sharing. Framework to answer: use a three-part structure. You start with your North Star, right? Share a clear, authentic, long-term vision for your clear. So career. So I'm not explaining the entire answer, but I'm just sharing. Okay, it gave you something, right? And this is something, not a random thing. It's like totally makes sense, right? Start with a goal, right? And connect that goal with that specific company so that it looks well connected, and see what role that specific company can play in your career goal, right? And show adaptability and growth mindset as well, right? So yeah, it also has given a model answer as well, right? So Sai, Sumit, your answer is there, right? Okay, Uma, any question that you want to ask? Anyone can also ask question. You can also write in the chat. I'll just try it out. Uma, go ahead. You want to ask any interview question that might be troubling you for a couple of months? Others can also ask the question in the chat. I'll definitely try to take it from there.
For me, I would say, what is the most difficult decision that you had taken?
Okay, so now I'll just copy paste this so I don't have to retype it. Okay. What is the most difficult decision that you have taken as a product manager in your previous role at agio.com? I'm just giving it a little bit context so that it's not lost, right? Okay, so here's a how to structure a strong PM behavioral answer to was a dish. Okay, use star but PM tailored, right? So set the business and product context clearly, state your specific responsibility in the decision, highlight your decision making process, right? And yeah, it has given us like what interviewers are look for, right? So okay, decode and conquer is my knowledge base that I'm referring it to, right? So yeah, this is the answer looks like at geo.com. We were doing this, right? This is a task, action, I applied this framework, right? And this is basically trying to explain, okay, how you went about taking that difficult decision, and yeah, what all things you kept in mind to prioritize and get things done. All right, so it's a good start, right? Okay, give me a proper, give me a proper PM roadmap from beginner to for no. Okay, Abhinav, please ask your question clearly, like it's not clear. Okay, why we should hire you instead of? Okay, I think we've got students in the room. That's where the questions are coming in. Okay, I'll just go ahead and copy this. Ideally, I have crafted my instruction prompt in a way I should understand, but for the sake of getting a better answer in the first attempt, I'm just trying to give it context upfront as well, right? Why we should hire you instead of others, right? Okay. Interviews are testing your probably they're trying to understand your intent, right? Differentiation, what makes you stand out versus similar candidates, value add, right? Fit, alignment with the mission, confidence. Use the 3P formula: past, present, and projection, right? So yeah, that's where your answer goes in. You're also getting a sample answer as well, right? I believe you should hire me because I combine deep product execution skills with a strong record of deliverable, measurable impact in fast moving environments, right? So yeah, not reading the entire answer, but yeah, still giving you something, right? So yeah, this is what my custom GPT looks like. Okay, what is your current? Okay, this is I don't think you need Jag. This question answers via GPT. How do you handle conflict with one of your team members who has different lines of record? Oh, that's an interesting question. Very nice, Abhishek. Let me see how does this respond to this. It can behave anyway, but let's see how does it behave to this. Okay. How do you handle conflict in a PM interview? So it shows leadership, collaboration, and maturity. Understand, okay. Use the PM conflict resolution flow. acknowledge the shared goal, seek to understand, frame in terms of user or a business impact, because you can't make it personal for sure, right? Explore options together, basically brainstorm win-win solution, and escalate constructively, right? So yeah, that's superb framework, right? And it also shared the, so it solves that as well. Abhishek, yeah. Okay, Tanushri is trying to test the patience of Custom GPT. Let me still ask her question. Okay, I'm not now giving it any more context. I've just given it. Okay. Okay. They're usually prompting an analytical PM question to how. So it also try to understand, okay, this is an analytical PM question, right? Yeah, it is able to understand it because it's been asked to behave that way, right? So first clarify and frame the problem, right? Break down the revenue, right? Build a MECE diagnostic tree, which is around revenue, right? And it can still improve, wherein it would understand, let's say, better external factors or internal factors, right? So that's probably an improvement side for this. But yeah, that's, I think, a good structure at least to get started, right? Wherein what it did right now, it just try to break down the metrics, and where I would say in that entire data flow on which all specific factors you can pin down to improve that metrics specifically, right? So yeah, it gives you, okay, now let me try it in a different way. Okay, below RCA question was asked to me, can you share how should I go about solving? Let's say if giving it a little bit more context, does it help or not? Right? Oh no, I think I should have done it a little better. Uh, 1 second. Okay, Netflix revenue declined by 5%. Find out the RCA. Now let me try this. I think it's still giving the same answer. So yeah, it needs, I think, more knowledge base, right? Just because it is, yeah, recommend. Yeah, it needs more knowledge base in terms of how to answer or how to understand these external factors and all, right? But I think it can be improved. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So folks, this is how you can go about building. I can take one more question. I could have shared this GPT link. You can definitely try it, but I would have to then disable it. How do you approach it? If you were your own critic as well as support for rating yourself, negotiation. Okay. Free trails. I don't know. Improvement question. Free trails after signing up to Netflix. I don't know, Somaya. What is your question? Great, right? Okay, now I think that's it about trying it out. Right now, what I'll do is, like, I'll probably share you guys how can you go about building your own custom GPTs, right? And in fact, I'll go ahead and share how I've built. That would be, I think, a better way to understand this, right? So I'll go here. I'm just sharing my screen, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to change my account, and then I'll share my screen. Okay, if you're a PM of Airbnb and need to increase the number of bookings within 2 years, what will you do? This is an interesting question. Let me at least try this. How does this answer? Okay, give me 1 second. I have logged out and I'm logging in. I'll then probably solve this question and then show you how I went about building it, right?
Akhil, is it a good time to take a short break?
We will in a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll just show you about your question. It seems like a good question, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll go about sharing how can you go about building your own custom GPT. Okay, all right. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So it is using this specific framework, basically comprehend the situation, identify customer segments, report customer needs, right? And yeah, circles framework, it is trying to recommend for a full 2-year roadmap with quarterly milestone and metrics so that it's interview ready and all, right? So yeah, Thank you. So I think, yeah, that's it from my end.
No, I just wanted you to share your thoughts as well, right? You've been in the industry for so long, and how things are changing for everyone in the job, and you interact with a lot of senior people as well. So what has their feedback been in terms of the importance of AI? If you could share that, I think it'll help the audience gauge that better.
Thank you, Sakshi. Folks, so AI has been along like for decades, right? It's started building around in like 1950s, and yeah, of course, it was like very foundational or fundamental at that time, right? Even I think till 2015, 2016, we were till computer vision, NLPs and all, right? It had seen certain use cases across the industry, but it was not, I would say, that mainstream, right? But from GPT-1 and GPT-2, even they were not that great, right? They didn't get that traction, I think, from GPT-3 onwards, because the number of parameters on which it trained, right, probably billions of parameters, has drastically changed the game, right? In fact, the biggest challenge with previous AI models versus new AI models was about carrying the context, right? So every time you are asking a machine to do something, it was not able to carry the context, and that was, I think, one of the limitation of the deep learning as well. And that's where I think Google's research paper on I think attention is all you need, right, has changed the game, and that's where OpenAI has taken forward, right? So this time AI has come in a way that if you'll see across the industries, across the domain, across the roles, there are use cases, right? There are different custom products, I would say foundational products, right? And there are different type of PMs as well in the market, right? One advice I'll give to all of you is like, and in fact, many of you before AI, if you have taken a consultation or given a consultation to a junior PM or a fellow PM, right? One thing you might have said that if you want to become a product manager, you need to know tech, right? I'm sure I'm not, many of you would agree with me. In fact, you would have also said that you don't need to code, but you need to understand how tech works, right? So that you can have a good bonding with engineers, and whenever they are talking, you can understand it, you can collaborate it really well, right? Now, since AI has become mainstream, right, that entire the team structure or the team or the stakeholder mechanism, right, that would also change, right? So now PMs doesn't only have to work with engineers or QAs or designers like the traditional stakeholder. They'll still be there. Some of them probably might not be there, as in the volume might not be there, but at least representative of those domains would for sure be there. Plus, a data scientist also would now be part of that team, right? If your overall feature or a product have the AI flow in it, right? So if you have a data scientist in the room, and if the data scientist is expecting PM to lead something, right, then the data scientist is also expecting PM to understand their language and terminology, right? What if you have, let's say, built a project and the data scientist is coming and saying that, hey, everything went well, right, but the precision and recall is not as per the expectation, right? And you should understand immediately, okay, what this means, right? What accuracy means, what F1 score means, right? Or how can you improve, let's say, ROC, and the, like, a lot of different terminologies depending on which models you're implementing, right? So yeah, the entire PM landscape will change. In fact, many of you might have also tried in your companies. We used to write a lot of PIDs. That writing would still be there, right? At least, but then it will be fast tracked a lot with GPTs and all, right? So what and why is going to stay, right? Which was anyway the responsibility of the product managers earlier, right? They still continue to do so, right? But along with that, you've just got a flavor of how basically that building part has got commoditized, and you can like not just float, I would say, 4,000 words document across the stakeholders. In fact, you can show a working prototype. Okay, this is how I am thinking to solve a problem, right? And that'll solve like a lot of problems and discussions, because every time you bring something new, there are four stakeholders definitely who'll pull you back, right? So yeah, it is definitely going to change, and whoever adopts it, right, they will be able to, let's say, get faster in the industry. Otherwise, what will happen? I think 6 months down the line, there's going to be a lot of folks who have already upskilled, right? And that the advantage of going early in this role would be lost. And then again, you'll be caught up in that AI interview process era and all. So along with product manager interview questions, you'd have to, of course, upskill end-to-end in AI, which is anyway has the requirement now, plus additional interview preparation you have to do as well, right? So If you want, I can probably at the end of the session discuss one of the questions which was recently asked in, I think, Amazon, product interviews, right? And yeah, that PM was not expecting it, which got, which became more of a rejection round. But then I can share it, like, so you understand, okay, whatever questions are asking. In fact, we are also planning in next 1 to 2 weeks AI mock interview series, so you can understand more about how this is going on, right? So I hope this helps, right? If anyone has a question, we can take a question and then we can go into understanding how I went about building my custom GPT. Yeah, anyone has a question, you can raise hand. And yeah, I'm also dropping my number in the chat if anyone wants to connect with me, right? All right. There's a lot of things, I can talk about AI, but then we have to dedicate this specific session to custom GPT, right? All right. And if you want to talk further, you can WhatsApp me. I or Ankit will, handle queries. Right? To our session, right, folks? Okay. Let's get started with building your custom GPT. So let me share my screen. Let me see if everything is well. All right. All right. All right. I think I'm here. Okay. Instead of building, okay, I can show you how you can go about building it. I'll share you my guide, as in I'll just have one. Okay. All right. All right, this is my interview coach, right? I'll tell you how you can build it. You can go to GPTs, right? If you have a premium version, right, that $20 one, you can click here, right? And you can click on create, right? And it'll give you an interface. You can create or build your own GPT using either prompting or directly configuration, right? So if you are, let's say, don't want to go and fill all these things, right? You can just simply go ahead and do the prompting. It'll ask you the relevant questions, and then your GPTs would be ready, right? Okay. The other way is like configuration, right? So this is the way wherein you can go about building it, right? This is very simple. It becomes complex when you have to create your own custom actions and all, wherein you have to set the API authentication and all, wherein you'd want your custom GPTs to hit specific endpoint, fetch queries, and add into your specific kind of answers as well, right? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do into the action part and all right now. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead now. Instead of filling everything from scratch, I'll just go ahead and show you things which I have done in my GPT, right? So that's how it'll help you. I go here, I'll go to edit GPT. Okay, it is still asking welcome back. Any okay, so when you go here, it asks like, is there anything PM interview coach should be doing better? Anything you'd like to change, right? So you might have seen that on certain questions, it didn't, acted, let's say, as per our expectations. For example, let's assume that, right? So you can tell this, okay, for this type of questions, the answer that you're giving needs this much change, right? So this is the knowledge base that I'm uploading, right? You refer to this and then try to refine the answers like this, right? Because this knowledge base right now is limited. Okay, so what I've done is like I have click the, I've given a name. You can give it any name that you would be an interview coach. You can upload your photo or you can use DALL-E to create it, right? So I've used DALL-E. It'll probably replace my image now. Okay, let it work. Oh, it changed the, you can also upload your icons or logos that you have, right? Description is something, this line, right, doesn't help much. It's more about telling more about your product. What does it do actually, right? Most important thing is this instruction, right? So I have created this instruction guide for myself, right? So you're a senior management interview coach, AI that helps do this. I have KB check is basically knowledge base, right? And configuration. And the second is intent detection, basically what type of questions users are asking, right? So you might have seen that it auto detected, right? Question type, classification, right? And modes of operation, how you can act and all, right? So you have to define your instruction prompt depending on the use case that you have, right? If you want this interview questions, this instruction prompt and guide, I'll tell you how you can get that as well. All right, now conversation starters are these, right? That you can see. Okay, so yeah, I can also add. Okay, ask me about my latest interview. So it's not showing. Okay, it shows only 4, right? So you can see that, okay, this conversation starter has come in here, right? So you can add 4 conversation starters, and once you're done making changes, right, then you can update it, right? Okay. Right now, I have only updated a book, which is not like, I think it's a book which was written like 10 or 15 years back, right? There's a lot of things have changed. So I generally make it better by uploading product-based interview resources, right? Which is like yet to be done, right? So I'll do that, and you can add your own knowledge base. It all depends on this as well, and this, right? The role is very, very critical, right? And the better you define it and ensure that it might not result into hallucinations, keeping those boundaries in mind are very critical. See, folks, prompt engineering, just because we can write it in a human language, it's not easy. It's just comfortable because we can type it on a keyboard. It's as difficult as Python is for data scientists, or JavaScript, or all these languages are for engineers, right? So if you don't write the prompt in a good way, then your models definitely will hallucinate, and it might not give you the expected outcome, and using which you'll always be thinking, okay, why this is not giving me the expected outcomes and all, right? So yeah, second is like you can also select, okay, in which specific model it should work every time, a recommended model, or or you can also let users select it as well, right? If you want to enable capabilities of web search, canvas, image generation, right, or code interpreter and data analysis, what this means is like, if you're doing, let's say, a guesstimate, right, and because this is a computer, right, so if you would do any maths and all, it will try to make sense of it, right? So for those specific purposes, or if you wanted to, let's say, analyze any code snippets and all, right, so for that you have to enable these capabilities. Canvas is something wherein you want to visualize what all is happening and how can you improve your custom GPT, right? And this one is additional setting is about use conversation. Yeah, you can give this, right? Second one is like creating action, which is like if you want to add your own APIs and all, which is like I would say additional actions. You can avoid it for now and go ahead building your. I'll just go ahead and update it, right? Apart from this, you can also see the version history wherein you've made all the changes. You can also revert it, and what all you can do, you can also delete this as well, right? Apart from this, you can also share it like anyone with the link can access it. Plus you can also upload it into GPT store, right? And you can also define the categories as well, right? Like if you want to have it like only me, so only you'll be able to access it, right? So this is a way to create it, right? All right, I think folks, so that's how you can go about building your own custom GPT.